A Grand Forks man is facing several charges after he allegedly held down a girl and assaulted her in her bedroom. Court documents say on February 20th, a girl said she was sleeping and woke up to a man, later identified as Jahan Stafford, wearing a mask on top of her. The girl told investigators he was using his hands to cover her mouth while touching her inappropriately. Police say when they questioned Stafford about this, he told them they were playing a scenario. He was pretending to be a burglar. The records say he denied this at first, but acknowledged it could have happened. Stafford is charged with felony gross sexual imposition, child abuse, felonious restraint, and that misdemeanor charge of wearing a mask during a criminal offense.